Hey y'all, it's Megan. Welcome back to the channel. Glad y'all are here today. Come spend a little time with us. I've got some boring old housework to do this morning, but Andy's got a lot of fun stuff to show you.
Yeah, boy. And y'all, it's going to be a hot one today.
Yes.
We're looking at what, 95, 96 degrees for the high?
Something like that. And it's already hot this morning.
Yep. So I'm not sure exactly what all we're going to get done outside today because it's going to be so hot. But I do got a couple of things that I definitely want to get done.
Yep.
Y'all see, Jacob, he don't mind the heat. He's out here. He's been playing all morning long.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, we're going to go, I guess we're going to get started here. I know I'm hoping to get our compost and stuff piled up today, and I'm going to kind of show y'all what I do with that. But before I do that, I got to haul some more hay. So yeah. I think I'm going to, before I put the bucket on the tractor, I'm going to put the hay sprayer on and go up there and get some more hay.
We're going to be through our spring cutting of hay.
It's happening real quick. Y'all, you've seen in our, I don't know, a video or two ago when I was down there working the corn, that we were supposed to have got rain the very next day, and it just stayed cloudy all day long. We might have got a little bitty light sprinkle,
like a sprinkle
first
for about
thing,
5 minutes, yeah.
And we didn't get nothing. I know a lot of guys down east, they got a lot of rain and they needed that. They needed it bad. So I'm thankful they got rain, but y'all here, we still hadn't got anything, and it's just...
We're still praying for rain.
It's slowly turning into a desert. But nothing we can do about it. We can't control the weather, and it's probably a blessing that we can't control the weather. So
that's right.
Anyways, let's get
what it is.
Let's get started with what we got to do.
All right.
So we get the little Kubota fired up here, let it warm up a few minutes. I got to take the forks off the front and put the hay sprayer on. I've been down here watering the garden this morning because I top dressed that corn expecting rain and we never got it. So that's kind of like a bad thing. When it's dry like this and it didn't rain, having that fresh fertilizer laying by that corn, you can burn your corn up real easy. So I've been down there this morning pumping water on that, and hopefully got enough water on it that maybe that fertilizer can go to work and take hold, and we can have our corn start growing pretty well down there. But anyways, let's get the hay sprayer put on the tractor and get to work. If you look behind me right here, you'll see that there's still 9 rolls of hay here. Y'all, we have used 10 rolls. No, we have fed 11 rolls this summer. That's 11 4x5 bales of hay this summer. That's crazy. I just now figured up how much we actually use because I hadn't really added it up yet. But 11, because when we started this pile, there was 20 there to start with. Now there's only 9. So we've used 11 rolls. Well, counting these 2 right here, it's going to be 11 rolls so far this summer. And guys, if it don't go back to raining soon, we're going to feed all that up in a hurry because our pastures are going to be so cooked that they're not coming out of this. Not without a lot of rainfall. I'm talking inches is what it's going to take. Slow, steady inches of rain is what it's going to take for our pastures to recover from the state they're in right now. So, y'all, it's getting kind of scary. I don't know what we're going to do. And I don't know that somebody can be exactly prepared for this bad of a drought. You know, you can be prepared for the small droughts, for the dry spells and stuff like that, but a drought to this severity is hard for anybody to be prepared for. So, I don't know. I guess time will tell, and all we can do is just keep doing what we're doing. Watch out, girls. So you notice behind me here that I've got the roll of hay down in the woods, and I typically wouldn't feed like this, but being that it's so hot, and you know, this is shade, this is nice shade, and the cows are going to be spending a lot of time down here, I just stick it in the middle of the woods down here so they've got a nice shady spot to eat. And I guess if I'm going to keep doing this, I'm going to have a hay ring. I'm going to end up having to get a hay ring because they are wasting a lot of hay. They end up scattering it around and laying in it. I mean, there's not a ton of hay laying down there, but it is some wasted, which is not a bad thing up here in our winter feed lot because we use that hay to turn into our compost. But, you know, down here, I'm not really trying to make compost. I'm just trying to keep them fed. So I may end up having to get us a hay ring if this keeps up here. But the old girls are still looking pretty good. Candy there, she's looking all nice and slick. Belle's looking pretty. Black Star over there, she's fat as a butterball. Little Cookie's looking good. And then the steer. Right there he is. He's looking good too. Everybody's all nice and slick looking. And still holding their weight well. So I guess we're doing something right. But I tell you what, man, if we ain't going through some hay. Alright, let's go feed our 3 other steers this roll of hay. And then I'm gonna get started on the next project. So I'm doing the little steers the same way, feeding them out here in the woods where they've got plenty of shade and they can stay out here and hang out in the shade and eat. But they're doing the same thing as well. Now they've wasted quite a bit more hay than the other ones. So we got a big old wad right here that I'm kind of wondering, because they hadn't been doing that. I'm kind of wondering if that wouldn't. So in one of the rows that I got off of that new field that we baled, there was a bunch of junk in it, like that really wasn't good for hay. It was kind of like some dried up grass that, well, I'm wondering if that's what that right there was, because they hadn't really eat it and they hadn't been wasting that much hay. So that could have been the bale that had the junky grass in it. But anyways, I got my fingers crossed they eat more of that one. And I really need a hay ring for these cows, because as soon as that bale of hay gets down to where they can lay in it, they just kind of spread it out and lay in it. So I really do. I need to get them a hay ring out here for sure. But I guess I'll get one sooner or later. I just don't, honestly, I hate to spend the money, but at the same time, with the amount of hay that I'm wasting, I'd probably come off better off with a hay ring. So we'll see. We'll see what the future brings. Well, for the next thing we're going to do, I need to get the hay spear off the back of the tractor and take the hay spear off the front and put the bucket on. And I think I'm just going to hook the tiller up to the back here. So let's get it. You know how it goes. I need to get them two lift arms back into there. Boy, them pins are hot. Yeah, they're hot, ain't they? You can pick up on the lift arm some. There you go. Run around and get the other side. Put that jack stand up. Hold up on this while you're letting that pin out. Alright, pull it all the way up and put it in the next hole. There we go. I'm going to walk down here and talk about what we're going to be doing next. I'm going to try to get as much footage as I can. However, it's just going to kind of be boring, repetitive stuff of me working here. But y'all have heard us talk in previous videos about how we use our rotted hay and manure as compost. So this area right here, which we lock our cows and horses up in this small area right here, kind of like late winter, early spring, and let our grass in the pastures recuperate some. So we just feed strictly hay in here, and then over time everything rots down, and the manure and all that rots everything down, and then we basically just scoop it all up and put it in a pile and let it turn into compost. So that's what I'm going to do today. This is a chore that has to be done when it's extremely dry outside, because Well, we have the water that comes off the roof right here of the barn. It rushes down through there, and then all that poop and hay and everything else just naturally holds water, and it takes forever for it to dry out. And I wouldn't be afraid to say that we're probably still going to find some mud in there somewhere. So what my goal is going to be today, like I said, I'm going to try to scoop all this right here mess up. Now, it's not near as thick as it was and has been in the past, so I'm not going to have quite as much this year, but I'm still going to get quite a bit, I think. So we're going to get in here with the tractor. I put the tiller on the back just so I could have some weight back there. I am going to be using the tiller later on, so I thought I'd just go ahead and hook that up, and it's a pretty heavy implement, so it'll give me a lot of weight on the back end of the tractor, because when I go to scooping this up, when I get a full bucket of it, it's actually kind of heavy. So I need all the weight on the back of the tractor I can get, plus it gives me a lot of extra traction. So let's get to it. So just so y'all can see up close what I'm doing here, you can see this is the hard packed clay that's underneath all this stuff, and that's what I'm doing, is basically scraping all of this off the top of that layer right there. And so I kind of can tell just by the tractor when I get down into that hard layer, and I just lift the bucket up just a little bit. But all of this, and we still got to do all this area out in here, I will dump over here in this pile, and I'll just kind of let it sit there and cook, and I'll flip it on occasion. I don't stay on top of flipping it, but I will flip it probably, you know, 2 or 3 times, something like that. Honestly, it's just whenever I think about it and I got time to do it, I'll come out here and flip it, and what I'll do is pretty much take this pile and I'll move it down the hill down below it here, and I just kind of keep alternating and just stir it around so it gets some air and everything up in it. But yep, that's pretty much what I'm doing, and I can already tell you this is about the driest it's ever been when I've done this. Honestly, I probably should have done it probably a month ago, but I kind of forgot about it. So I thought while it's dry weather outside, I'd go ahead and take advantage of that dry weather and get this done. That will sit there till I'll probably start using some of it like in the early fall when we start doing our fall crops in our raised beds, but it really doesn't compost down and make good stuff till like the following spring. So next spring, that pile will be some absolutely beautiful compost. I don't know if it's good compost. It seems to work well for us, but you know, I've never actually like tested it to see what was in it or whatever. I can tell you that it does have a ton of weed seeds in it when I do it this way. And that's just something we have to fight after we put it in a garden or something like that. But you know, it works for us, and it's a way we can make a bulk load of compost using what we're already doing anyways. So we would already be feeding cattle in here, and so that's why we always say when we're out here feeding and you normally see this thick layer of hay laying on top of the ground, and most people would say that's wasting the hay. Well, that's why we say it's not wasting the hay, because we end up getting this black gold out of it. So we'll keep on digging here. Just wanted to show y'all exactly what we had going on. Alright, so I believe I got most of it scraped up the best I can get right now. It was still a little bit wet right out through this area right here, but I'm going to tell you why. Because right there's the water trough, and y'all know what happens when you leave the water on in the water trough. So all this area right here stayed kind of wet, but the rest of it was honestly way drier than it's ever been before when I pushed all this up. Usually, I mean, I'm fighting mud in the whole thing, especially in this area right here, and this is actually dry. I can't believe it. But now I guess I can show you my mountain of compost I've got over here. So there we are. Now I know that probably looks big to some of y'all, but it's actually not as big as it was last year. Last year it started right here and it went plumb to about right here, and it was mounted up that tall. We had an abundance of compost last year. And the reason for that was because we actually kept the cows in here all winter long, and so we had a whole lot deeper, thicker layer of hay and everything than we did this year. This year we left them out on this pasture right here during the winter, and so we didn't accumulate near as much hay and poop and everything else under here like we had done in the past. But anyways, so this pile will actually shrink. It will, as it works, it'll get smaller. But when I go to stir it and flip it, I'll move it from this spot and I'll just kind of scoop it up, just like what I've done to put it there. I'll scoop it up and I'll move it over here behind me in this spot. And then when it comes time to flip it again, I'll scoop it up and move it up here to this spot. Like I said, y'all, I don't do no science behind this. I don't get specific with it. I just simply turn it when I have time to turn it and when I think about it. I do have a big, long, compost thermometer that once I'll give it a day or two and let it start working, I'll stick that thermometer in there and kind of keep a check on the temperature. Because I can say this, if it gets too hot, then you start you don't want it to get too hot. I don't know exactly what it does, but you don't want it to get too hot. I do know that. So I'll keep a check on it. As long as it stays under 160 degrees, I'll leave it alone. If I ever notice it start getting above 160, that's when I flip it. But anyways, I guess I'm done with that chore. I'm gonna go up here. It's took me about an hour to get all this pushed up, but I'm gonna go up here, fix me a nice cold glass of ice water, and sit on the porch for a minute and cool off, because y'all, it is a scorcher out here. I'm not much to complain about hot weather, but it's hot right now. So I guess I'm gonna go cool off for a few minutes.
Okay.
Get them cows low. I see you remembered to finally get Maggie's watering can out of the front yard.
Yeah, when I was right on the floor, I was like, oh yeah.
It got hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he's already up there, so we'll ride up there to Grandma's and help him.
Okay.
And I guess you can just stay with him if you want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with him to go show him.
Are you? What are you gonna be working on?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I may go see Daddy in a little bit. It's too hot for me.
That ain't hot. What are you talking about?
Be a good time to go visit in the middle of the day.
I guess
I'm
we're
gonna
gonna
go take them some peaches.
we're gonna ride up there and help Daddy.
Yeah, I thought I might take them a few peaches. I hate to see them go to waste.
You gonna pick them off the tree or take what you already got
I'll
picked?
take some of them in there.
Yes, I need to go down there this evening and pick Mama a few more. I don't know how many more she needs.
I looked at that tree. It don't even look like it's been touched.
You can tell there's a lot gone though. It looks like it's relieved and not having much pressure
Oh, I'm
hanging
sure.
on it.
I mean, my gosh, we picked, I'd say 4 bushels off of it at this point. And probably
Yeah,
not-
at least.
and
Maybe
probably
more than that.
off of one tree.
Because between Grandma and Mama, they got at least a bushel last night.
And then I picked 3 off of it. Like all together. Count what we fed the pigs. I'm counting like rotten ones too. Like that I fed the pigs or whatever.
Right.
I just took my chickens some pieces of tomatoes and stuff that I had in the refrigerator, good and cold.
There they come. Mima and
Maggie.
Grandma and Maggie.
I got some of the housework done. Gardening season is always so tough because you got so much to do. I was up till, what time was I got done finally last night? 10, 11 o'clock?
Something
It
like
was
that.
close to 11, I think. And you know, you're busy doing all that. You can't do it all, y'all. You just can't. I mean, these people on Instagram and everything want to tell you can, you can't. You'll kill yourself.
What, the ones with the pretty dresses?
Yeah,
and the
exactly.
nice clean
Right,
counters?
right. So let me just tell you, that ain't real life, and I'd tell anybody that. But
If it
anyways,
is real life, they got way more time than we
they got it more figured out than I do anyway. But that's besides the point. I got all that mess done for the most part, and now it's supper time. So it's hot. You don't want to eat when it's hot.
I see a good example of just how hot it is.
Yeah, show them over
Look
there.
at the sweet potatoes, y'all. Sweet potatoes love the heat. And I just watered this bed last night, but right there's some moisture.
I was gonna say it's down
Have
in
to
there
get way
maybe
down in there
somewhere.
to get some moisture.
But me and Andy were talking about it, trying to figure out what in the world we was gonna eat, and I think I'm gonna make some pork quesadillas, and I'm gonna use my canned pork. It'll be something that'll just be real quick and easy. And I've got some peppers out here, so I thought I'd come out here and pick me some fresh peppers. Pull pepper
Yeah,
plants.
look at them
I mean,
peppers.
they
They
just
are wilted like crazy. And I really did. I watered every bit of this last night, and I guess I know what I'm gonna be doing a little bit later this evening.
it's gotten pretty rough. But
Now these peppers are doing fine.
look at these Mad Hatter peppers, y'all. I mean, these are probably the biggest pepper plants we've ever had.
They're huge, but they ain't got no peppers on them.
Yeah, they do.
They're just now starting.
They're up in there somewhere. Where's the big ones? Is that on the other one?
That's on the other bush.
So it ain't no big ones on this
No,
one?
I hadn't seen no peppers on them plants.
No.
See, they're just now starting.
I say let's get us, I'm gonna pick me a banana pepper here. We'll put us a banana pepper, a Mad Hatter, and a
You want to get one of them
jalapeno.
big jalapenos?
Look at that.
That's nice.
That's a nice banana pepper.
Y'all, we got the biggest jalapenos over here that we've ever had.
What'd you say they were called?
I think they were the jumbo jalapenos. I don't know. Look
I'm
up
just
there.
gonna get one though. Let's see. Find
Look-
one that's,
Look up in there.
is there one that's
That's a nice one.
cracking?
That one probably is, if it's not as close.
Let's do that one.
That's the biggest one on the plant.
That's what you call a jalapeno right there.
That's a fat one.
We ate one the other night, and I don't know if it's cause they are planting, you know, jalapenos are funny. Sometimes you eat them, they ain't hardly hot at all. Sometimes you eat them, they burn your mouth up. Well, we eat one the other night, and I don't know if it's because it's next to these cayennes or what, because
the Carolina Reapers are right
and the
beside
Carolina
them, too.
Reapers are right here. But you talking about hot, but it clean your sinuses out anyway.
Yeah, it was hot. It was hot.
It was, yeah, it was warm.
Gosh, look at the habaneros up there.
They're sad.
Oh my gosh. It's got to get to the point that, I guess where it's just so hot, it's almost impossible to keep all this stuff watered. I mean, we water and water and water.
Well, and as we've said time and time again, well water's only going to do so much for this stuff. The leaves is even curling on that spoon tomato.
I see that. That's why I'm kind of glad our big garden up here is about to fizzle out, because I just don't know how much more water we can stand to pump on it.
Here they are.
Yeah, that thing's loaded too.
I'm trying to look for a decent size one.
Looks
And
like a
these
good
right here are really good. This is our first year growing these Mad Hatter peppers. And
Show them, they're kind of funny looking.
yeah, they're cool looking, but they're very good. And I read that you can either eat them green or red. Right there, right? Don't they turn red or orange or something? Yeah.
Yellow and red.
But so far we've just eat them green, but they're really good and they're sweet. Bananas are still my favorite though. But
yeah. Well, there's some pretty banana peppers on that plant too.
Lord, yeah.
We're gonna have to be putting up some peppers here before long.
I guess I need to make my chow chow.
Yeah.
That's coming up, but that's a 2-day.
Don't you need green tomatoes for that?
Yeah, I got some out there, but
Maybe.
it's a 2-day process, so I have to have 2 days to do it. Is the only thing. So I kind of put it on the back burner. Ain't that awful?
Yeah. Shame on you.
I know.
I don't know why in the world you would put anything on the back burner.
I know. Let's get in here and get this cooked.
Yeah, I'm not sure just how much more is actually going to happen outside today. So since we just seen y'all a few minutes ago, me and Jacob went up and helped my daddy load some cows that he's taking to the market. And now Jacob's gone with them. I think they're eating supper while they're gone.
Yeah.
So it's just me and Megan and Maggie here right now.
Pork tacos it is. I mean, not
Yep.
tacos, quesadillas.
Pork quesadillas. And that's something Jacob really don't care nothing about, so that's why we thought we'd have it tonight too. Oh my goodness, it feels good down here.
It always does. It's always like the same temperature. Always. Nice and cool. I do want to address something while we're down here. We've had a lot of people ask why we don't store our potatoes down here. I think it's a lot of new people that's come around and everything, and get so confused why we store the potatoes down under the barn versus in our root cellar. Well, we stored our potatoes down here for years, and they just never kept as good as they should have kept. I think it's too humid down here, and they would shoot their sprouts up, and we would have potatoes maybe until January or February, and then they were too far gone.
Oh, yeah.
And then we put them down under that barn, and y'all saw we were eating potatoes until we pretty much got our potatoes up almost. They kept much better there, so that's why we don't keep them down here. Long story short there. Let's see. That's what I'm hunting. There it is.
Looks good.
I love canned pork. It's so convenient. Make your own convenience foods.
Your own fast food.
That's right.
I guarantee that fast food's a whole lot better for you than the fast food out of McDonald's.
You darn right. You always listen for that seal to break. Always give it a good smell. There ain't no need to put grease in the pan with this canned pork because you've seen the grease on top of it, and that'll be a plenty for our meat and our peppers. So I'm going to go ahead and get my peppers chopped up and get them in there. A lot of times those banana peppers, you can just barely cut the top and pull it out like that to get most of those seeds out of there. I ain't gonna need all of that today. All right, let's do our Mad Hatter. And our jalapeno. Salt and pepper. So the good thing about canned meat is the meat is already cooked. So I'm just gonna let this sit here and cook down until my peppers get tender, and then we'll be ready to make our quesadillas. All right, our taco meat's looking pretty good. It smells really good. One thing you gotta remember when making quesadillas, which I always have to remind myself of is it does not take. Don't pile this thing full of meat, or all it's going to do is like fall out of it. So, that right there will probably do it for this. All right. Let's lay our quesadilla on our pan here. Our meat was hot, so the cheese is kind of melted from the hot meat. So all we're looking for is our tortilla shell to get good and crispy and brown, but not burnt. I mean, if you burn it, it's still good. I've burnt plenty, but try not to. Let's give it a check. There we go. Got that nice brown color, getting a little crunchy. That's what I'm looking for. And that right there will probably, yep, see there? That'll do it. We'll just keep stacking them on here. Very, very simple, but good meal. Perfect. Let's cut this one open and see what it looks like. I'll just use a regular old pizza cutter. Ooh-wee. Boy, it looks delicious. For dessert, y'all saw in a video or two back, I made some peach butter. I had a little leftover, so we've been eating on that in the fridge. I made biscuits for breakfast this morning, and so I'm just gonna eat me some peach butter on a biscuit. Probably should have warmed the biscuit up, but I kind of like cold biscuits too. But this was the end product of my peach butter. Look yonder, y'all. It is so good too. It is right up there with apple butter, and I love apple butter. But I'm proud because it even has a good texture. That's all right, ain't it?
It looks good. Well, I guess it's time to start making our watering round.
Yeah.
I hope y'all enjoyed today's video, and you can probably look at us and tell just how hot it is here. But anyways, hope y'all enjoyed it, and hope you learned a little something, and I guess we'll catch y'all on the next one.
Y'all have a good one.
See you later.